As the December 6th runoff for the Georgia Senate election gets closer and closer, one candidate, Raphael Warnock, is making more and more sense. The other candidate, Herschel Walker, is increasingly unable to speak. We're going to look at clips of both options that Georgia voters have on December 6th. Remember that if you vote in Georgia, the Senate races are not over. We know Democrats will control the Senate, but will it be 50-50 or 51-49? That's going to come down to a runoff election in Georgia. The reason there is a runoff is that Georgia has something called the 50% rule. The 50% rule states that if no candidate in a regular election gets to 50% of the vote, the top two vote getters will have a runoff. And indeed, although Raphael Warnock got more votes than Herschel Walker, neither candidate got to 50% because of a third-party candidate. And so there is going to be a runoff on December 6th. Herschel Walker, in a completely deranged weekend, saying things that don't make any sense about anything. Here he is in one clip blaming Raphael Warnock for a disruption to his speech that was caused by an ambulance driving by. Listen to this.
One don't act like one. I'm that warrior for God that he sent down here to get this man out of office. I'm that warrior for God that he sent down here because I don't dance and sing for nobody. I never have and never will. Because I remember when my offensive lineman used to tell me, they said, Herschel, follow me. I'll take you to the promised land. So I'm going to tell all you, vote for me, we all get to the promised land because we're not going to get there by one. I want all of us to get together because that's what we are. We're God's people, and we're going to get there together. We're going to work this thing out together. We can't.
You guys following this?
Do it because in the Bible I read, it said a house divided cannot stand. I don't know what Bible Senator Warnock is reading, but it's not the Bible I've been reading because he don't seem to be doing the right thing by him. That must be Senator Warnock doing this right here, trying to cancel me out, but he can't cancel me out because I'm the man of God. God loves me, and I can tell you that right now. He loves me, and I'm going to tell you this right here because it's getting cold outside, but cold weather only makes us better.
Yeah. Really just commenting on everything from police responses to godliness and weather and just everything. At another event, the trend we saw was that Walker's attacks on Warnock became not only increasingly incoherent, but also sort of strange. In this word salad, Walker tosses up the idea that Warnock is not God's people.
But I started watching television and I came upon a man by the name of Raphael Warnock. Well, this was so funny, and I'm gonna get into it. No, don't boo him. He's everyone falls short of glory of God. Let's just think about it. And he, as I was watching him, and just the other day I heard him preaching in his church about me. He said some of the things I said is venomous and vile. And he said that, when you talk about him, you're talking about Jesus, and you're talking about Dr. Luther King. And this was so funny about it. He is correct. When you talk about God's people, you sometimes talk about Jesus, but he's not God's people because he's not doing right by what God is telling him to do. But
crystal clear, right? Crystal clear. Folks, this is an election that is less about any particular issue and more about values, consistency, and who do we want representing us in the Senate, big picture. And that's what I'm going to come back to after we look at the Raphael Warnock clips. Now, just one more of Herschel Walker blaming Warnock for something related to Archie Bunker not being on TV anymore. I mean, it's almost like a random word generator.
Sometimes he is a man out of cloth. I'm like, has he read the Bible I read? Because they talks about forgiveness. They said, don't look at the speck in your brother's eye, look at the plank in your own eye. You got to ask for forgiveness. And he never asked for forgiveness and moved on. He's still talking about the past. We don't want to live in the past because y'all, can I tell you this here? Archie Bunker wouldn't even be on the air today, would it now? And I tell you what, I used to love Archie Bunker. Did you not like Archie Bunker? But because of Senator Warnock, it wouldn't be on air because he's still living in the past. You got.
I don't know what he's talking about. It wouldn't be on. Archie Bunker went off the air in 1983, and the guy who played Archie Bunker died more than 20 years ago. It's just this is not about which candidate's tax policy do we prefer. Okay, this is absurd. Now, on the other side of this, we have a very good candidate, an uncontroversially good candidate. Here is a viral ad that Raphael Warnock put out in an extremely sophisticated way, equating Herschel Walker's policies to dog poop.
Is it just me? Or does it feel like we've been here before? The whole country's finished voting, and only us left. You'd think Herschel Walker would want to explain what he'd do in the Senate if he actually wants to represent Georgia. Instead, he repeats the same lies, trying to distract from what we all know is true about him. But I think Georgians will see his ads for what they are. Don't you? I'm Raphael Warnock.
Yeah. So anyway, he dumps dog poop into a trash can when he says, I think people will see his lies for what they are. And then here is Raphael Warnock making sure people understand this from just a few days ago. There is going to be a runoff. There is another election coming.
Well, Georgia, here's the deal. It's now clear our race is going to a runoff. On November 8th, the people of Georgia showed up. You showed out. While we received more votes than my opponent because we came up just shy of 50% of the vote, we're going to a runoff. So I'm going to need all of you, every single one of you, to go and vote one more time on or before December 6th. This runoff is about who is ready to represent you, who will actually work for Georgia. It's about who will stand up and fight for a better tomorrow for all of our children. Early voting runs November 28th through December 2nd, and runoff election day is December 6th. Now, nobody believes a preacher when he says in closing, but I'll close with this. Go vote. Your vote is your voice. Your voice is your human dignity. And Georgia, I need you to raise your voices again, louder than ever. Are you ready? Because I'm ready to keep working for Georgia. It's the honor of my life. Let's do this thing one more time.
All right. So there is no shortage of opportunities to get involved. You can, of course, donate. And many of you wrote to me and said you have donated. You can phone bank. I believe that Cuban-American streamer Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II is going to be leading a coalition of canvassing down in Georgia. I don't have the details in front of me, but I believe it will be the weekend of, I think it's the first couple days of December, but we can get that information. We have to get involved with this one. If Warnock wins, you knock out the power of Manchin/Sinema. Like, yes, there's still two of them. You need one of them, but you can lose one of them and still have 50. And that is of critical importance. And we are going to follow this one. This is the race at this point in time. If you have a friend or loved one who is passionate about the environment, here is a perfect holiday gift. Our sponsor, Established Titles, is a project that lets you ceremonially purchase as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land in Edelston, Scotland, so that you can call yourself a lord or a lady, like the historic Scottish tradition. Some people even change their plane tickets or credit cards to include lord or lady. Your title pack comes with an official certificate. You can see exactly where your plot of land is located. It makes a perfect last-minute gift. But most importantly, Established Titles plants 1 free tree for every plot of land sold. Established Titles does really good work all over the world with reforestation organizations like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future. So you'll have a great laugh whether you're Scottish or not. I'm not. But you're giving the gift of reforestation to fight climate change. If you use my link, you'll get 10% off, and your plot of land will be right next to mine. You can see it on a map. Go to establishedtitles.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for an extra 10% off on top of their Black Friday deal. The link is down below.